Hello everyone and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. Today we're going to talk about what to do when you got that leftover food and you don't want to throw it away because there's nothing wrong with it. And we are going to talk about what to do with that leftover spaghetti sauce today. I make all of my spaghetti sauce from scratch and I usually put them in quart-sized jars. When I actually make the meal, the spaghetti sauce meal, I usually make enough for multiple days of leftover spaghetti. And then my family gets tired of it and I usually put it into some kind of container and I throw it into the freezer. But yeah, y'all, I lost one of my freezers several months ago, so I'm down to one deep freezer and just what's in my refrigerator. And so I am trying my best to pull things out of the freezer because I have a cow, what is it, a quarter of a cow coming, and I have nowhere to put it right now. So I am trying to eliminate as much things in the freezer as possible so that I don't have to buy another deep freezer. So I made spaghetti sauce a few days ago and it was absolutely delicious, but it was absolutely too much. And so we are going to use this recipe from the Ball Home Preserving Book of Canning, the complete book, this book right here. There's a recipe in here called spaghetti sauce with meat because now my spaghetti sauce does have meat in it. It has ground beef and sausage in it. And so I'm going to use the recipe from this book on how to can it. Now, since this sauce is fully ready to go, when I am ready for, let's just say I want spaghetti and I only want it for 2 people and I don't want a bunch of leftovers, all I got to do is cook the noodles and then just warm up this sauce and I got a meal. It'll be super fast and quick. My other spaghetti sauce, I still want to add the meat to it. If we want to add meat to it, I may add a few more vegetables, right? It's not ready to go because the meat's not in it. This will be ready to go and I'm going to put it in small quantities. It won't be a meal with tons and tons of leftovers. It'll be a meal for one day. We eat it, we're done, no leftovers. So I am going to use pint-sized jars and pint-and-a-half size jars. And I am going to use my digital Presto canner. The recipe calls for 70 minutes. It needs to process for 70 minutes. Now there's meat in here. This is a low acidic food. Typically tomatoes are not when you're canning them, but I've added meat to it. And since I've added meat, you have to pressure can. You cannot water bath can this, okay? You can water bath can straight up tomatoes, but you cannot once you add all of these other ingredients to it. And so there's meat in there, so I have to pressure can. That's an important piece of this process. So I got my digital Presto canner here. We're set up. We are ready to go. I got my jars in here. We need to warm these jars first. Yeah, for those of you who know me, you know I hate to be wasteful. I don't believe in throwing food away. Oh, I get really upset when I have to throw food away. So we want to make sure that I'm not having to go to the grocery store to buy this stuff and to throw food away knowing that there are so many people out there who don't have food, that are struggling to make ends meet, just feels so wrong to me. So we got a pressure canner on. We are going to pressure can for 70 minutes. The recipe is for quart-sized jars. I'm doing pint-and-a-half and pint-sized jars. I'm still going to do 70 minutes though. I've already inserted my jars and now I'm warming my jars. So my jars are going to be warm and my sauce is also going to be warm when we finally get them in here to pressure can. So that's it for now. I got my sauce warming up over there. I will bring you back when it's time to fill the jars. Okay, everybody, the sauce is warm. My jars are warm. So let's get these jars filled up. Now, if you want to know how I make my rich, thick delicious spaghetti sauce. I have a video out there where I talk about how I do that. This video today is really just about how you don't throw your food away. And yes, you may get tired of eating something, but that doesn't mean you gotta throw it away. Just put it in a different state. I talk about it all the time about changing the state of what you're eating to preserve it. And yes, you can get tired of eating leftovers. I know you can. I get tired of eating leftovers. Actually, I don't care for leftovers, just to be honest with you. I prefer not to eat a leftover. But after a couple of days of spaghetti sauce, y'all, we're done. And we need to either freeze it and now, or can it to save it. So you need to leave an inch of headspace is what it calls for. This spaghetti sauce was made with a ton of orange and yellow tomatoes. I mean, a ton of them. And it's not a deep, rich color. I made it fresh because I was trying to clean the freezer out, and I had frozen tomatoes in the freezer. So I was trying to clean it out to make room for this beef that's coming. And I don't want to have to turn around and put it right back in the freezer, right? But this sauce was made from my tomatoes, my peppers, my onion, my herbs. Everything was mine. Oh, I can't do that. That's not enough. I don't want to waste this jar. I should have put this in a half pint size jar. Oh well. We got what we got. So this is a wasted jar, honestly. I could have put this in a half pint size jar and we would have been good to go. But I didn't. This is what we got. From my fresh tomatoes and all of my fresh vegetables. And we need to wipe the rims. We don't want any cracked rims, damaged jars in any way. Nice clean rims. It only supposed to be an inch of headspace. I'm supposed to make sure there are no air bubbles in here. Getting a chopstick or a device and put in here, make sure there are no air bubbles. I'm not going to worry too much about air bubbles because I know I got an inch headspace. If I get more than an inch, no big deal. But you really should make sure that you get all the air bubbles out so that your liquid covers whatever your vegetable is. But this is a liquid in and of itself. So we're good. I took that step out for today. Okay. Get these jars in. So I got the jars in my canner. Y'all, I'm always doing something. I like to keep it going. So the pressure canner is on, it's heating, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Once it gets up to pressure, it's gonna cook for 10 minutes at pressure. And at that point in time, it's gonna beep at me and let me know I need to add my regulator. But that's it for now. I'll bring you back for the next step. All right, it says put the regulator on. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this regulator on. And we're gonna hit the arrow for the next step. All right, so now it's gonna can for 70 minutes. Now that the regulator is on, we gotta wait for this little piece here to pop up, and then it'll start counting down for 70 minutes. That's it for us. I will bring you back when everything is done so you can see these beautiful jars of ready to go meal in a jar, very quick spaghetti sauce. The canner's done. Let's see what we got. Let's see how I did. I was really concerned about this jar right here because I didn't fill it all the way up, but the jar is intact. I don't know if that's a good canning thing or not to fill your jars all the way up, but this jar didn't crack, it didn't break, and it looks good inside. So we're going to call that a win. That one looks pretty good too. We can't let any food go to waste around here, so that's why you have to can up your leftovers, freeze them, whatever you need to do, preserve your food so that, one, we're not throwing away perfectly good food, and we're saving money. And I did have 1.5 pint size jar. It looks good as well. Meals in a jar ready to go. I don't have to cook it anymore at all. I just need to add pasta to it. As I mentioned before, I like to show everything that I'm doing, and this just happens to be what I'm doing on this very relaxed, laid back morning because I'm tired of eating it. I want to cook something else, but I can't cook something else if I'm not preserving what I've already cooked. Waste not, want not is what my grandmother has always said to me. If you enjoyed this quick look at what I'm doing around Kim's Cozy Corner, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you hang out with me, Kim, at Kim's Cozy Corner. Talk to you again real soon. Bye.